Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from Hy-Vee, we've got our dietitian, Amy. She's back and she is ready to bring us some great Family Meals Month ideas, the family meal prep. Amy, first off, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm doing great. Always good to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I just bored you with my whole family history on why I think this is such an awesome topic. Because Family Meal Month, it could be good. You could take it so many different ways, but at the end of the day, it is really about bringing families together with food. Like that is the premise, and families' dynamics are different, meals are different, sitting down time. It is all different. So as we line up for this, what does the research show for Family Meals Month?
Yes, so Family Meals Month, it's an industry-wide movement really helping to raise the awareness of those benefits, like you said, of having more meals together as a family. And when you look at the research, really, you're seeing lots of benefits, everything from improving intake of fruits and vegetables, improved relationships with nutrition, better grades in school, better mental health. There's a lot of different things you can see. And really, I think it all boils down to those improved family relationships. And so it's taking that time to come together as a family, put the devices away. I know is tough for everyone to do, but really to come together as a family and really build those relationships over food.
It is, and our time seems so precious now, more than ever. We've got so many distractions, so many things going on, and so let's try to break this down a little bit on easy ways to help celebrate and get yourself immersed into the family meal. Where do you start if you were gonna pull something together for the family?
I think the one thing to remember, and this is something I tell clients all the time, especially if they have kids and everyone has different schedules and, they're really worried about tackling this, two things. One, try to eat one more meal a week together. Don't think it has to be every single meal. You kind of set yourself up for failure that way. So maybe just one more meal a week. And then just remember that a meal can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be, this gourmet recipe that took you 2 hours to prepare. You had to prepare everything from scratch. A meal is a meal. And so it could be something that took you 20 minutes to prepare. It could be something that took you an hour. And so I think a lot of times people get really caught up in the details of thinking it has to be this perfect example, when really, if you're getting something on the table, you've got it balanced in terms of food groups, that's really enough. And so, kind of taking that pressure off of thinking it has to be this ideal, meal and setting and everything, and really just starting with, okay, what can we make that's easy and fast, and then we can all sit together and enjoy it.
We call that two things at the Crosby household. It's either sandwich night or pizza night, but that's a different story. All right, so let's get into the meal planning part, because you've got some easy tips here to really, again, break it down. And these are pretty achievable goals here. So take inventory as your step one.
Yeah, step one, start with what you already have. Right? You don't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff and then find out that you already had it at home, which is so easy to do. I'm very guilty of doing it myself when I'm not taking the time to keep track of what I have. So, go through your pantry, go through your fridge, go through your freezer and see what you already have. And then you can start with those ingredients first.
Step two is create the meal plan, the dreaded meal plan.
Yes, the dreaded meal plan. Yes. So, a couple different approaches you can take to this. And really just, it kind of depends on where you are, what your schedule looks like. So, start small is easier than starting big. So maybe starting with a couple of days, maybe even start with a week. And really important, take everyone's schedule into account when you're planning. So if Wednesday nights are busy nights, everyone's got something going on, I need something fast. That might be a good night for sandwich night, right? if you've got another night where you have more time, you can do something a little more involved. Maybe plan in a pizza night where, it's a Friday night and everybody's tired, maybe have that be that night you do that. And so really just deciding, okay, this is what our week looks like. This is what we have time for. And then we'll slot those meals in to fit with that schedule.
Yeah, that makes it easier. That's breaking it down, making it a little bit easier to achieve. Again, you're going for the home run here. You're going for the camaraderie, what you got, what you can use. And the next one is making a shopping list. And I think of, I made a shopping list thing in IT as a wood thing, but it had the shopping list on it and you write it down as you go. But it does go a long ways to not buying things you don't need and that planning process.
Yes. Definitely helps with not buying what you don't need and can actually save you time. Especially if you tend to shop the same store, you kind of get to know the layout of the store. So you kind of know where the different departments are. I like to write my shopping list in order of the store as much as I can. So if I know I always start on one side and kind of work my way over, at the very least, group by department. So you're buying all your produce, you've got all your produce lumped together, all your dairy lumped together, and that'll help kind of save you some time too. Another thing you can do is, back to coupons and things like that. We live in a digital age, so you can certainly still utilize coupons, but the great way to do it is through the Hy-Vee app. You can just save them to your phone. And then when they scan your fuel saver, those will automatically come off. So that's another time saver, and you're not having to keep track of those paper coupons, which, those tend to get lost pretty easily.
Yeah, if anything, all grocery stores across the area have definitely increased the strategy in shopping with the online carts, and which is great. A lot of them offer it that they'll show you what you purchased in the past, so you can actually speed up your grocery list because you already know what you got in the past. But this next one, tying it in, is shop strategically, which I think it's hard to do sometimes because maybe you don't know the different seasons, but all grocery stores do a good job of bringing certain things out. But tell us shopping strategically, how that works.
Yeah. So you mentioned produce, buying in season. So, now is a great time in Wisconsin for fresh produce because we're nearing the end of that growing season. So, thinking things like tomatoes, zucchini, sweet corn, lots of those things are really fresh right now. And so you're going to get better quality, and they tend to be a little more affordable this time of year when they're in season. And then when we get more into the winter months, when really not much is in season in this area, that might be a time to switch to a frozen or a canned variety, just again, to kind of make the most of that grocery dollar. So that's one thing you can do in produce. When it comes to other things, we do have bulk sections. So if you're getting grains, oatmeal, quinoa, couscous, granola, things like that, nuts and seeds, you can certainly get that in bulk. That tends to be a little bit cheaper as well. Always looking through the ads. And then with the online shopping, that can be a real time saver. Like you mentioned, you log in, it remembers what you typically buy, so it makes it faster to add them to that cart. And then, depending on your time, you could either just pick it up, have someone shop it for you, or you could actually have it delivered if you live in an area where that's available, which again, huge time saving. So there's lots of tools at hand to really help you maximize your energy when it comes to grocery shopping.
Yeah, don't be afraid to get out there and try these things because they actually have helped the family meal. If you really think about it, they've really put it in the hands of, they understand the time, you've understand how it all works. So I could spend just a lot of time talking about shopping, but we'll leave that there. The last piece I do want to get to, because it also really goes with this family meal month, is cooking age appropriate tasks. So getting the kids involved in the cooking process is a must. And you've got some great ways based on the child's ages. So let's go through a couple of these really quick and why it's so important to get kids involved.
Absolutely. So the more kids are involved, if they're helping prep it, they're more likely to try that food, which parents, I'm sure, will understand sometimes how tough it is to get kids to try new foods or to
It
eat it.
is. Why is it so hard? Like that should come with the baby book of it. Yeah, the food.
Right.
They're gonna
Right.
like
I
it.
don't
They're
think
gonna hate
anyone's,
it. And,
yeah, I don't think anyone's fully solved that issue yet. But so you can, this is one thing you can try. It's not a guarantee, but kids are more likely to try foods that they've helped prepare. They're a little more invested in the process. So the other thing is that they're learning these skills that will help them lifelong. So, cooking is a great skill to have for the rest of your life. I've worked with a lot of adults who don't have those skills. So again, the more you can teach those as children, it's a lifelong benefit. So you just want to make sure you're giving them age appropriate tasks, for safety, but then also you don't want to overwhelm them with something that's going to frustrate them and make it a negative experience. So, really when they're about, when they're 2 and under, there's not much they can do, but maybe just have them in the kitchen with you. When they get to about 3 to 4, they can start doing things like washing fruits and vegetables. If you've got greens, they can tear them. They can stir things. They might be able to mash like some potatoes if you have it. As they get to start to be a little bit older, about 5 to 6, get them started with a blunt knife with supervision, obviously. They can start to set the table. They might be able to measure some ingredients out. And then as they get older, obviously you can advance those tasks, and just making sure you're keeping an eye on them, helping them out, modeling the correct techniques to do all those things. By the time your kids are teenagers, they can be to the point where they're making dinner for you. So, think about that investment as you're teaching these skills. When you get to that point, when you've got that busy schedule, maybe then if you've got a 15-year-old who really loves to cook, maybe that 15-year-old can take a dinner one night a week. So definitely a good time investment.
Amy, you're about to get a lot of emails with parents saying, what did you just say? They can actually cook. Yeah, I think you're right in all of this, getting in the kids are so observant and they are watching your every move, and they're going to take on the traits that you do. So if you're bringing in those fresh vegetables and you're seeing them work with it, they're more likely to use that in the future because they're like, well, I did that as a little kid, so it must be good for, versus if you're popping the potato chips open all the time, they're also going to follow that and be like, well, that's what I always did growing up. What's the difference? So you're right. I think it's super important to get them involved and yeah, if they can cook at the end of this, I mean, win-win. So, but that's a different story. All right, Amy, quickly, sorry, we've taken up a lot of your time here and we got to scoot, but if people want to learn more about stuff we talked about today, getting in connected with you to talk about some of these things, because it doesn't just have to be 1 month. You will help people understand and cope with some of the things. In fact, every time I come on with you, I'm pretty much having a session with you to talk about the woes of, and you do a great job. So people want to learn more, how can they do so?
Yes. So you can always go to Hy-Vee.com/health, and we have a dietitian page where we have all of our services featured. For September, we've got a lot of really great things. We've got every month we do a freezer meal prep workshop. So if you want to get some help prepping some meals to throw in your freezer, we have kids cooking classes that are virtual. So again, getting those kids involved with the cooking is a great thing to get them involved with. If you just need some quick meal ideas, a free store tour might be the thing that would help you. We can walk you around the store. Hey, have you thought about this ingredient? Have you thought about this time saver? So we've got tons of resources, just reach out. We're here to help make getting that meal on your table a little bit easier.
Amy, great stuff today. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm looking forward to trying some of these things at home with my little ones, but hopefully everybody can take time for a family meal here. And we'll look forward to checking with you next month.
All right. Sounds great.